All right, Zath. Let's have a look over these lineups.
Hmm,
You ready for game two?
I am. Are
Let's
you?
do it. Let's do it. Talk to me about the '07 lineup. Let's have a look at this green team.
All right, Team Green is bringing once again Shikishima and Ohio, so they want all the big guns all the time. They've
Mm-hmm.
got triple Moskva, which is interesting. They just want to point the bow and not have to worry. And then for destroyers, we've got dual Marceau, Ragnar, and a Daring.
Okay. From the south, Bonks has fielded a Conqueror in Ohio. That feels familiar. Goliath, Salem, and Zath. Am I reading this right? 5 destroyers this game. Daring,
I
Harugumo,
mean,
Vampire, Deuce, and double Ragnar.
sometimes you just gotta spot a boy.
Sometimes apparently you just want all the spotting and all the guns because really, Zath, none of these are torpedo destroyers, are they?
No, they aren't. So I mean, in a sense, we're gonna miss out on this whole like just following torpedoes and seeing if they hit kind of a mini game.
Now I just saw all our Hulk fire his main battery. I wonder why. Are we? I mean, are we looking at a restart? I don't think so. Nobody's stopped yet.
I think he was just clearing his throat.
Okay, that's interesting. Odd choice there. Let's look at some early deployments. So Bonks is really going all in on cap control. Like you bring this many destroyers, this is what you got to do.
Hmm.
Daring and Goliath and Ohio all headed to C. The double Ragnars look like they're going to work B. Harugumo kind of out there with them. In fact, we've got a Harugumo and a Ragnar all the way up on the F line, kind of hanging around the bottom of the B cap. Vampire Deuce, Salem, and Conqueror headed over towards A. '07 looks like their big play is going to come over at the C cap. They look like the Ohio, the Moskva, that's Peyton and John, look like they're probably going to, my assumption is they're kind of holding action, much like we saw them '07 play this map from this spawn earlier, kind of get over here, do a little kiting, try to keep these guys from pushing through A2 quickly.
Yeah, and our Hulk being pushed back by Shikishima guns. Drix is now being shot at. This is what you expect. Battleships get spotted early. They get fired at early. No, no surprise there. Uh, it's weird though to see so many destroyers on the side of Bonks. Um, They're gonna have to really work that to their advantage if they can. Maybe get a 3 destroyer hit squad going or something along those lines.
Well, we've been seeing 4 destroyer compositions pretty regular today. Like that's been, let's say, the norm, right? And
Hmm.
and now Bonks is kind of one upping at saying, well, 4, let's go 5. What's one more at this point, right? Um,
Hmm.
and they, they've folded a Ragnar into their lineup, which, as you and I have discussed, is almost more of a little tiny light cruiser than it is a destroyer, if we're honest.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, if you can have this many destroyers on the board, man, you got to get cap control. You got to hold it. Um, right now, not quite there yet, but it is still early. We're barely 3 minutes into this game. As you see Dyer there taking some salvos from Pieces of Pizza's Marceau.
That's right. A little bit of a Ragnar Marceau duo with some Shikishima guns coming in for effect, because why the heck not?
Calling it a duel was a little unfair. Dyer never fired back, not once. He was content to let Pieces do the shooting and stay lit while he just snuck away.
I wonder if the result of that last battle is making Bonks get a little bit conservative with HP trades early on.
Maybe. I mean, they have to play a little conservative simply because with bringing 5 destroyers, they start down health. And on top of that, they brought in, they brought a Conqueror, which is not exactly the healthiest battleship. She is she has a lot of longevity if you play her right and you play her cautiously, but she doesn't bring a whole lot of base health, let's say.
Yes. Boom Diata now and the Vamp Deuce detected at A. Uh, he did get the cap, but it's going to cost him probably half his hit points by the time it's all said and done.
I don't know. We'll see. He's burning, but the follow-up Moss Vasallos have not been that effective just yet.
Mm.
Another Moss Vasalvo coming in from astern. That one a little more effective.
Hmm.
as he finally goes dark.
Yeah, that fire burnt out. He did not DCP as Boom Diata's engine is still broken.
Whole lot of hate going in on Eagle Lance right now as well. He must have gotten lit. He and the Harugumo seem to have sniffed out each other briefly as well. Now look at the board, Zath. You see it now. Bonks has managed to pick up
All
every
three.
cap circle now.
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes gone. Bonks out to a 60-point lead and growing. They own all the caps.
Now, not only are we looking at all the cap circles, look at all the O7 ships. Once again, all of their butts are facing the middle of the map. They're all pointed away,
Indeed.
except for one Marceau, that's Pizza,
Oh,
and the
Vivi.
Moskva.
Look at Vivi at B. Gotta negotiate it. Not gonna do it. Taking two.
2 torpedoes.
Oh, that is really, really bad because Vivi's lit
And
as well.
and detected, yeah.
Yep,
That's right.
he sailed right into somebody's detection bubble right as he did it. They're gonna lose this ship, Zath. That is a
Oh,
huge
yeah.
mistake.
That's an easy pick.
Huge mistake there. Bonks can't afford to gift these guys a ship just like last game. 07 gift wrapping a ship, handing it to their team. Here you see Bonks doing the same thing. Ouch.
Ouch indeed. Now, Eagle Lance coming under additional fire because he tried to support his teammate.
Yep, he did the right thing. I mean, you got to get that kill while you can. Especially a ship like Ragnar that's got heals. He can afford to give up a little bit of health.
That's right.
You see why, though, Zath. You were talking about why are they all turned around. And yet, I think Vivi's play there, it kind of shows you why. If he had been reversing up to the cap, he would have been in a much better position to dodge and weave and find his way out of those torpedo salvos. Instead,
That's
because
right.
he was bow in, was much more difficult. Ragnar doesn't handle all that well. She is vulnerable to torpedo salvos.
Well, and O7 typically plays the long game. They take their
Yes.
time, they wait for the enemy to make a mistake, and then they capitalize on it. You see how fast that guy went down once he
Oh,
was
yeah.
detected. As
Oh,
quick
yeah.
as they could
Price.
turn their turrets. Boink.
Yeah. Price knew, like, he just took two, find him, kill him, right? They knew.
Right. Now, while all this has been going on, John the Ruthless is down to 12,000 hit points. Now he's healing up, but he must have gotten smacked by, God, everybody? I don't.
I'm guessing so. I'm guessing it's a combination of Testers, Salem, and either that or the Conqueror's been just firing HE on him. They've been pouring the HE in on him. Then, yeah, I could see it.
This game, though, right now, it's coming up all 07. Ship lead, cap lead, points lead.
They don't have a points
Or,
lead, Zach.
I'm
That's
sorry,
just
not
it.
points lead. That's right.
They have a ship lead, but that's it. They're down 250 points and continuing to fall behind because they have no map control for the moment. If Bonks can keep them off the maps, keep them off the caps long enough and make them desperate, then potentially that could change. For now, though, it looks like they're going to be able to break into C.
Triarch did get into C. He was detected for a little bit, no longer detected, as Addy is now spotted and being shot at. But look at Pizza. Pizza is being rotated in as well to make sure that it gets capped.
Yeah, they want to make doubly sure here.
Price is going to reverse into B.
In fact, I think we might even see a bit of Marceau running down Daring. We saw some of that in a previous round on this map. I believe was it just the SCCC game that we just did, Zath?
I think you're right.
Yeah. 07 now finally picking up C, trying to get into B. They cannot see Frice. They're fishing blindly. The Harugumo shells just going out there looking for him as Dyer's Ragnar moving up on the bottom end of the cap, presumably wants to bring his radar to bear.
I mean, it makes sense. You got to have somebody for Nagato to shoot at while he's sitting in smoke and safe.
Indeed. B contested.
There's the radar from the Moskva, Elgar.
Yep. There's Elgar's radar, but Elgar doesn't really have good shots on Dyer. There was an island in the way. Frice has some shots, though. Dyer's going to give up some HP for this.
Now, Boom Diata is detected and trying to shoot into Elgar a little bit. There's a big hit on Dyer from the Ohio.
Yep. Dyer taking a good hit from Peyton's Ohio. Vampire Deuce leaving smoke for his Ragnar teammate. This is actually really nice teamwork. 07 does pick up the B cap along the way during all the chaos, but they're still 300 points behind. 10 minutes to play.
Look at our Hulk's Conqueror just
Yeah.
shoving through A like that.
Yeah. I keep wondering if Eagle Lance, well, it's not, I'm sorry. For some reason, I thought Eagle Lance was in a Marceau. I'm like, if I'm in a Marceau, I might just go after that guy and wipe him out. But unfortunately, Eagle Lance is in a Ragnar, which of course has no torpedoes.
Right.
'07 still up on health. I don't. Their board position to me, Zath, feels less comfortable than it did in previous games. I think the B cap is still. I think their hold on the B cap is still a little softer than they would wish.
Well, sure, but I mean, they just need to continue pushing down the C cap, and then they can rotate too. Now look at Frice! Look at Frice! Look at Frice! Taking a torpedo right there. Ouch.
Yep. Takes a vampire
Ouch.
torpedo in the bow. Daring will be able to heal some of that back, but not all.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. You'd think that he'd have his hydro going if he's going to go deep like that, but
It is
regardless.
generally hard to torpedo with Daring, but Boom
Mhm.
Diata's vampire pulls it off right there.
That's right. The difference, though, is that BONKS had nothing to follow it up with. They couldn't radar to
Well,
spot him, any of that kind of stuff.
Dyer's moving up. Boom Diata's got Marceau torpedoes coming in from astern. They're chipping away at Elgar as BONKS is getting close to 900 points. If you're '07, you really don't want to let them back onto B. You don't want to let them pick that cap up again.
Ace
I won't
Baby
say that,
now getting farmed in the Moskva.
I won't say that you can't afford to let them have it again, but you certainly don't want it to happen.
Boom Diata detected again. Another radar from Elgar. This might prove fatal. More 07 assets are ready to go.
Boom Diata is going to have to pull out of B.
Remember, he does not have a heal. Vampire 2 does not have a heal.
Nope, Vampire cannot heal back any of that health. Boom continuing to run south, burning and dodging. Down under 600 HP.
And burning.
But
There it is.
They get him. That's a huge, huge kill for '07. That gives them some breathing room. Still down 150 points and gaining. 8 minutes to play. Now, Dyer and Nagato are leaving, Zath. You see this? They're leaving the B cap. It feels like they've decided they're going to try and win on kills, maybe? And they're going to, I mean, you think
How?
they're going to get Peyton? I don't
No.
know. Peyton just
No.
punished Tester, just punched him in the nose.
I mean, that makes no sense to me. I think if they're gonna try to find a way back in the game, it's to go back to C at this point, not to run to A. But
Well, it would
that's what
seem
they
that
chose.
BONKS disagrees with you. They seem content to try to farm out Peyton and try to win on just the one cap. But I think they're going to lose Tester before this happens. Yeah,
Oh,
there it
yep,
goes.
Shikishima.
Yep,
From
Baron
downtown.
Shikishima from across the map. What is that? It's about
31 kilometers.
31 kilometers and change, ladies and gentlemen.
That's an in-flight meal and a movie.
Indeed. It's not quite a lead change for '07, but we are seconds away from that lead change. Yeah, I feel like they should have stayed at B. I really do.
Yeah,
and
there's no pressure there now.
And Drixus and Doofy are so far south, they can't really do much. They can't really impact the cap circles.
No, I mean, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, right? They're trying to slow down and the enemy's push. But to what your comment was, usually when you kite away, you want to kite in the opposite direction. So the Goliath should really be at J10 right now. With him moving that way, and Peyton does go down, but with the Ohio and Goliath both moving westward right now, that just allows pretty much all of '07 just hit W and just wheel right around without any fear of showing side, taking random torps, any of that kind of stuff.
Now, as uncomfortable as this is, BONKS is about to cross 900 points. 6 minutes to play. They only have the one kill, but they had such a cap advantage for so long, they can still theoretically win. Now, I don't know if they can win on a single cap. That I'm hesitant to say. But if they can bag an extra kill, they can bag one more kill. I think it's very realistic. I'm just not sure where that kill is going to come from. There aren't any obvious '07 targets.
They absolutely need that insurance. And here's where, going back to what you were talking about, the Hargumo Ragnar leaving B, is so important, because had they stayed there, they could support Drix's Ohio.
Well, Drix is turning into the Shikishima salvo. This
I
could
mean,
be
that will hurt.
catastrophic. It's not.
And
Most of it
it's
falls short.
wow.
Elgar puts the Moskva radar up. They want to know where the radar. They want to know where the destroyers are. They find Addy. Our
Yep.
Hulk's Conqueror is also getting quite low. 40 points between these two teams. 5 minutes to play. BONKS trying to squeeze out a win here. 07 determined not to let that happen. Man, is this
Yep.
close.
It's very close. Our Hulk is looking at B. It seems like BONKS has decided we need a kill, and we're gonna have to fish for it at B somehow.
Less than
Eddie's,
well, right at 20 points now.
Eddie's still being shot at. There he goes. Now he's off.
They can see Elgar. That's an AP salvo out of Hulk's stern turrets. They put a torpedo into Elgar and a few more shells. Here comes more AP. 07's about to catch them. We're going to tie up around 970 points or so. The next kill will end this game, Zath. It's literally that close.
That's going to be dire. It's going to be dire.
You think so?
Dire's. Oh yeah, he just took Moskva hits from all the way back in Delta 1.
He's incredibly low. Look at this.
Yeah. He's going down, guys.
I don't know. No, Zath, look at Elgar. Look at Elgar, Zath.
I see it, but it's not enough.
It's dire. It is dire. Elgar on 1,400 HP, but dire goes out first, and that is the game. Literally that close.
That's correct.
07 claims game 2 for a 2-0 lead here in this NA finals now. Really is on. BONKS played an amazing game there, Zath. I mean, you had like one, I won't say obvious mistake, but you had a mistake there losing Vivi's Ragnar early. After that, they played very clean, very tight, lots of cap control points for them, but eventually just not really able to kind of overcome the health advantage that 07 had after that.
That's right. It just felt like this game was close in some ways and not so in the other. It felt like 07 just you felt the confidence behind 07 and everything that they were doing with their plays, with their positioning. That one point when they had when BONKS had all 3 caps and 07's like, that's fine, that's okay, like
they got at that point of the map. It's you can afford to buy a little bit of time, but if you wait too long, it becomes too late to make a difference, right? So yeah, we'll head back to the studio here. We'll bring Bogsy and Sconce in for their thoughts. But I think that for me, as I look back on that match, one of the big things that I've noticed, and we've seen this now in both BONKS games, they put a battleship and the Goliath. First game it was the Conqueror. Last game it was the Ohio on the off flank, the kiting flank, however you want to say it, the weak side, right? But then later in the game, when you need those ships to have an impact on the game, they're too far away. And if you look, 07 keeping their battleships, their ships much closer to the middle of the board. When they need those ships in the late game, they're able to move in. Oh, Zath. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot I screwed that up.
Anyway,
Zath got Thanos snapped.
It's Thanos. But they're able to move those ships in, and they are impactful late in the game.
There was something that I noticed right around the time when BONKS had, I think, 800 points and 07 was sitting on maybe 530, 550. I thought, well, BONKS has the A cap. 07's never taking the A cap away from BONKS. BONKS can win on 1 cap at this point. Like, they can win on 1 cap. They don't need... 07 would have had to have 600 points to actually lap them. And I thought, they're still trying to take B. BONKS is still trying to go take B rather than just say, hey, you guys have to get into A. So let's just concentrate on defending A and not losing any ships. And it was when I saw BONKS attempting to go back into B, I went, they're trying to win more. They're doing the win more thing. And I thought, it's not going to be good. But, to be fair, they really had an incredible... they did incredible considering the fact that they lost that destroyer so early. Was that Vivi or Boomdiata?
Vivi.
Yeah, so like literally a flip around from what happened to Eagle Lance in the previous game, but they still managed to control all 3 caps long enough to give them a 300-point advantage for a while. And credit to 07 where credit is due. They did exactly what we all know them to do. They are the unrelenting like mistakeless machine that they just go forward, they trade better than you, and they step on the caps when they need to, and they win. And that's what they did. 2-0 so far. Very well played. Eskance, what did you think?
So I mean, I thought the loss of that destroyer early on, that was rough. And yet, you see the positions on the map, Bonks didn't back down. They brought, what was it? The line in 300 or something. Oh, you lost an eye. Well, God granted me a spare. Well, they brought 5 DDs. They lost one. We still got 4. It's good. So, they were able to hold literally all 3 caps against 07. And you had to think about it. Yeah, they've got a destroyer advantage, but how are you going to push back the destroyers? By moving up the cruisers, by taking up the aggressive opinions, or taking up the aggressive position. Well, aggressive opinions too. But then that's what 07 did. They just went, we don't have to panic right now. We don't have to freak out. And they just started moving forward. They started making plays. Obviously, A was gone. There was a Conqueror sitting in the middle of it. So no, but they were able to make that move over at Charlie. And worth noting that 07 completely threw away A, took all of its DDs and focused them just on Bravo and Charlie. And that was it. And once they had that headroom, they were able to kind of bully back the front line. And I think you are exactly correct, but I don't think the loss of that DD that swung the game was because of trying to win harder. I think it's because the score timer mod is not working right now. And if they had the score timer, they could have looked and seen, oh, we have win condition. We have win condition. Don't die, and just backed up. But they didn't have that, and they weren't converting the math in their head. Somebody's like, well, no, I think I'll just step on the... No! And then it became one big ball of desperation after that, and we got to see the Titanic, oh, crap, let's get out of A, and it just didn't work.
31-kilometer shot, right?
Correct.
31 kilometers. Who was the...
Marin.
Who Marin airmail?
Marin Shikishima just put some stamps on those, stuck them in the mail, and said, see you when they get there.
Well done, Marin. You're going into the Hall of Heroes for that shot. I think that one will probably go up there with a couple. This must have been KOTS 10 potato qualities, like 34-kilometer Montana shot.
I remember that.
Yes,
I remember that shot.
That was pretty astounding. That was the first KOTS I ever watched too. That was pretty fun. Well, okay. Why don't we, Zaf? Do we think we have our technology working properly?
It seems like it.
Okay, great. So then we can, I think we can go ahead and say thank you to our casters, move back to the maps, and take a look.
See you.
Adios.
Okay. So, Northern Waters falls to the mighty 07. Next up, Bonks is going to try and get a point on the board here on North. Now, North, again, one of those maps where you've got the open water A cap. It lends itself to destroyers doing the mating dance where they wiggle their butts at each other until they see each other, and then they scamper away with their tails between their legs, hopefully dropping smoke for cruisers that can shoot at the other cruisers, very likely in smoke. Venezia and Nevsky, both big culprits of that. However, they are banned. They've been banned by all the competitive teams. Very strange. So we'll see what they bring. We'll see if Ragnar's become the de facto, the mini Nevsky out of the A-Cap.
Smoke Cloud Zhao. Just saying.
Smoke Cloud Zhao. Yeah, right. I've even seen people bring Woosters on the...
I have seen that.
On North as well. So we'll see if Bonks or 07 has anything spicy up their sleeve. Given how many destroyers, and like big destroyers we're talking about, how do you feel? What do you think's going to go around in the B cap? Do you think we're going to actually see a knife fight for that, or do you think people are going to say, screw it?
Well, I mean, in that last one, we saw 07 was willing to just completely abandon a cap in favor of holding, BC strat, right? So I don't think either team is going to be just willing to throw away Bravo. I don't think that's possible. Most likely, I would expect some kind of radar cruiser, probably a Moskva, just something that can kind of dig in and be there for a good long time. The only way I would imagine somebody can test B is if they bring 4 destroyers and they feel like we have such an edge on this, we can drop a destroyer and a cruiser and just kind of like take this real quick and then get our destroyer out and have our cruiser, hold it behind us. But I still think that's a bit of a risky play because the longer you're going to spend in the middle of the map, the later it's going to be before you get positions at A, get your smoke train up, get your cruisers ensconced, and start to do the thing. The longer it's going to be that you're going to have your assets from swinging out to the 9-10 line. Because sometimes when we see O7, we see Bonks play, they're not going to take one ship, two ships. They might take 3 or even 4 ships on that 9-10 line. So they can do a little leapfrog going from island to island, pushing up and just kind of bullying people back. And I don't really know if they have resources to spare for Bravo and to stall at Alpha and to win at C. So I don't think we'll see that. I think it's just going to come down to 2 radar cruisers just kind of locking it up. But we've seen aggressive plays in weird ways today. So maybe.
Yeah, one of the things that's unique about North as well is that a really, really fast destroyer, especially one that has some health and can outfight something else that it runs into, like a Marceau, oftentimes we'll see a Marceau absolutely dive for C to whatever the 7 line, I suppose. Sometimes they'll literally just dive in through the C cap, hide behind that little island. Other times they'll go actually around the back and wedge themselves in that way. But Marceau is more than capable of doing that. And given how many Marceaus we've seen today, I suspect we will see that actually happen. What is sort of put over there to contest it, we'll have to see. We'll have to see if maybe we see a Des Moines or a Salem or 2 push up the 9-10 line. Those are very strong positions. Those islands there are very strong. So it looks as though the game might be ready. I'm going to go ahead and let them know that they can start, and we'll drop in when they're ready. But yeah, I want to see another Elbing. I want it. I was surprised to see Ragnar's. I was surprised to see Vamp Deuce. The Vampire 2s have been very interesting. I think people will be looking at these after the tournament is over and going, this might have a place in competitive play.
Well, the first DD I ever got to tier 10 was a Z52. So I am absolutely partial to the vision and control that the Z52 Hydra gives you. And the Vampire 2 matches a very aggressive Hydra range with the ability to move while your Hydra is engaged with British guns that are going to rip somebody apart. I mean, there's a lot there. The Z52 doesn't have a heal. Same thing with the Vampire 2, doesn't have a heal, but its ability to kind of pick a fight and take that fight while not being detected, being able to fire for, many seconds at a time, a DD would either run away, which it could do, or charge the Vampire 2 and try to take the fight. Realistically, in a competitive situation, if a DD is being attacked, it's probably got friends somewhere. So it's unlikely that the Vampire will just have the clear advantage, but knowing that there's a Vampire out there, if you don't have a radar or you don't have something that's going to outspot it, you have to cede ground because you might be in a Marceau. You might be in something that can absolutely just beat the crap out of stuff. But when you can't see your enemy and they see you, you take more damage than they do. There's just no other way to express it than that.
Well, I think we can put the lid on all those people beforehand that said the Vampire sucks.
Oh yeah, who the heck said that? Oh, I see that wink. What an unfortunate wink.
What an unfortunate wink. Yes, I was waiting like 5 minutes to drop that in, so you're all welcome. Looks like there might be a slight delay of game, so
that was a terrible joke. I just want to say.
I mean, do you really expect anything better?
I mean, if you don't aim low, then you can't hit below the belt. So I mean, sometimes you just you go for it.
It was an overpen, Sea Raptor. It was an overpen. It wasn't a full pen, and it definitely wasn't a Citadel. But give me a minute, and I'll come up with something better.
It was an overpun, Bogsy. It was an overpun. There you go. There's your better. There's your better. We just a little bit higher, just a little bit.
Good Lord.
Yeah, so it does look like we are almost good to go. However, there is still some internet issues. So
okay.
We kind of step back a little bit and reflect on this because this is going to be game 3. 07 is up 2-0. This is the winner's bracket final. It's a best of 5. So first 1 to 3 takes it, which means 07 they're right there, man.
Yep.
But sometimes the Empire strikes bonk, and you start getting some the Vader comes in, gets a little force grips in here, and before you know it, things start falling the other way. So it could absolutely be that the brave gentlemen of the 07 club get wonked by the horny bat a few times, and it could easily go 2-2. North is a map that has been around for quite a long time,
Yep.
well known to both sides. But that also, while that's an advantage, it's a disadvantage because Bonks has played against 07 on North a lot.
hmm
07 has played against Bonks on this map a lot. So they're going to come in having an idea of what the strategies are, idea of what the outplays are. I mean, the fact that they know each other so well, this is really going to be a scrap.
It's true. I think we can also make mention now that although we're not covering it quite as extensively, because we'd like to focus most of our attention on the finals here, we can make mention that KSC and Beach are facing each other in the losers bracket round 6. BN, without the hyphens, is facing AP, and AP is up 1 game in that matchup right now. AP actually was one of the top 3. They went to internationals in KOTS 12, I believe. Yes. KOTS 12? No, KOTS 11. KOTS 11.
Solid contender either way.
Yeah, they're very, very strong team. So whomever wins between those two will then go on to face each other, and then that the winner of those 2 matches will then go on to face whomever wins here from 07 and Bonks. There might
Whoever
be
loses here, whoever gets knocked down, right?
Yes.
Or okay.
Well, no, I think
Bracket weirdness. My mind is
I know. My
exploding.
mind gets. I start looking at it, and then I feel more confused. I believe the winner of this match then goes on to. Well, is it? Does the loser of this match go on to face?
So I think it's whoever. Okay, BN and AP. Whoever takes that one's going to go ahead. KSC versus Beach. Whoever takes that, they're going to be brawling it out. And then because we're looking at the winners bracket right now, whoever gets knocked out of this is going to be fighting the winner that's amongst those 4. Whoever makes it through King of the Hill, brawls out the way to the top, and knocks off the other kids. They're the ones that are going to be roughing it up in the playground, trying to climb back up into that winners bracket to give it another go.
So okay, got it. We can confirm though that both 07 and Bonks have earned their spots in KOTS Internationals in 2 weeks. Regardless of who wins or loses here, both will be representing the North American region. Just keep that in mind, folks. Bonks will be representing you in KOTS Internationals. A bunch of children who exist on a diet of memes and like school paste will be representing you again.
They're manly men in tight tights. Well, good news. That 9th player has found his way back. The computer issues are gone. And I do see that the screen has clicked into that last game. So will the Empire strike Bonk, or will 07 salute their way to a win? The game is loading. So let's pass it over to our casters.